To meteorologist Caroline Brown about this weather. I know we were just speaking off camera, Caroline, the heaviest of these storms pushing east right now.
Absolutely, and that's a really important thing to notice. The most intense of the storms, that's going to be this line here. Now, those white boxes, that's issued by the National Weather Service. It means it's not quite a severe thunderstorm warning. It's a special weather statement. So these storms still packing quite a punch. They're capable of producing 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts in addition to pea-sized hail. You know, earlier today, we did have confirmed reports of pea-sized hail over in the Spring area. If you're at work hearing this, don't worry, pea-sized hail should not cause any damage. Needs to be at least about the size of a quarter for damage. So let's take you through these strong storms. That special weather statement in place for another 15 minutes. You can see that line of storms advancing towards Crockett over in Trinity County. That pink color just north of Trinity between 94 and 19. That's capable of producing small hail. As we continue down to the south, a really intense lightning on the north side of Lake Livingston by Onalaska here. This is producing frequent lightning strikes capable of producing 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So as this moves in, it's going to be loud. The skies are going to be dark. We recommend you move inside. Definitely better to be safe. And continuing down to the south, Livingston to Shepherd along the East Tex Freeway here. Portions of this not quite as heavy. Down towards the south, you can see we still do have that special weather statement from Liberty to Mont Bellevue, Baytown impacting the bay. These storms thankfully moving. They're pushing their way off to the east at about 25 miles per hour. Because of this, things get a lot better. Once it reaches you, wait about 30 minutes, and then things are going to be much better. Now, it doesn't mean we're totally in the clear. Behind that initial line, we're still left with some lingering moderate to light rain showers. It's going to take a few hours before we'll completely start to clear out. In the meantime, we would love to see your photos. Look at this shelf cloud that was on Highway 105 near Lake Conroe in Montgomery. Michelle Martin sent this in. If you've got any great photos of the clouds, the rain, the hail, we would love to see them. Zach at click2houston.com/pins.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing those Click2 pins throughout the day. Caroline, thank you. Talking about this, when I left the studio at 10 o'clock this morning after the 9 o'clock show, I walked out and it looked like it was 10 p.m. because it was so dark outside.
I mean, these storms, they are so tall up in our atmosphere, and that leading edge was so dark that I think
so dense, right?
Dense. It caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, it certainly did.
We were getting messages of people saying this is as dark as the sky looked with the derecho.
Right, and look, we're used to the rain. This is day 3, day 4 of it, so it's not. This was just different. It was bizarre.
It was different. I mean, look at this Click2 pin. If you didn't experience it, I think this
look at
shows
that.
it. 10:30 a.m.
from downtown Houston.
But you would believe this is 10:30 p.m.
Absolutely, right? Or at least getting close to it.
Exactly.
Evening hours.
The skies went dark, and we just started to get all of these really ominous photos. And it really did paint a picture. And if you took any photos like that, by the way, we would love to see it. Click2houston.com/pins, because it really was a sight to see. Now, as for right now, here in the Houston area, things are looking significantly better. Where they're not are going to be east of town. These storms rolling their way off to the east at about 25 miles per hour. Now, as they move out of here, things will get better. However, we are seeing lingering showers behind them. So let's start with the most intense storms. Then we'll get to the showers that we're continuing to track. This is a line of thunderstorms that has a special weather statement capable of producing 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's now crossed over the bay, pushing into Chambers County. So Winnie, Anahuac, you're about to see the heaviest of the lightning and the thunderstorms here. Continuing up towards the north, Liberty, Mont Bellevue. A little bit of a break here in northern Liberty County. Shepherd up towards Livingston. This is where we have frequent lightning strikes. Thankfully, all of these storms continuing to push out, but as they move overhead, they're capable of producing 3 to 4 inches of rain in an hour. Now, they're not going to last an hour, so we're not seeing any rainfall totals that high, but we have seen rainfall accumulations up to 1.5 inches. Continuing up towards up towards northern Lake Livingston, Groveton on Alaska, still dealing with some of those heavier showers. Where you see that purple color north of Livingston, this is where I would not be surprised if we have some pea-sized hail. So this is the leading edge of the storm. Behind this, we are dealing with some light to moderate rain showers. Thankfully, just rain showers behind that initial line. As that pushes out, things are going to start to dry up. You can see the Southwest Freeway certainly still going to be wet here in Southwest Houston. Temperature-wise, much cooler because of that rain cooled air. Currently sitting in the mid-70s here in Houston. Will be dry for most of the afternoon, but as Zach was mentioning, this is day 3 of probably 8 days in a row of heavy downpours. Tomorrow we have yet another flash flood risk, and you're going to want to listen up because as early as 7 a.m. in the morning, we'll start to see strong to severe storms. Future track Thursday 7 a.m. storms extended from Houston County through Madisonville down through Brenham, Bryan College Station, even out towards Columbus, advancing towards the southeast, reaching the Houston area likely around the middle of the day between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So Columbus, the Woodlands, Katy, continuing up towards Alaska, 10 a.m. pushing through the Houston area around lunchtime. If it were me, I would pack a lunch to work tomorrow. You are not going to want to be on the roads during the middle of the day. Advancing towards the coast between 2 to 4 p.m. and then no problem for your evening commute. So Thursday, plan on extra time for the morning commute. For the evening commute, things are going to look a whole lot better. That extended forecast is going to show shower and storms staying with us every single day for the upcoming week. But it's important to remember, this is not a washout. These are hit or miss storms. So if you do have plans this weekend, there's a good chance you can squeeze them in between storms. But Zach, that does not mean that you shouldn't have a backup plan.
Okay.
And between the storms, it is hot and it is humid. It is June here in Houston.
It is muggy. But get out there and celebrate, Dad. Just come with a backup plan, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case. Good stuff, Caroline. Thank you. You're sticking around light for the most part throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, at least the next several hours, we're going to be dealing with that light rainfall. Thankfully, not as heavy as it was when it first came through. But when it first came through, we got this click-to pin, and I love the way he put it. He said, Katy feels like a rainforest in Puerto Rico. That was Pete Sanchez who sent this photo in. We appreciate you sending it in, and it is true. As the rain was coming down, we were seeing rainfall rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. Now, thankfully, because these storms were moving through, we only saw about 1.5 inches for some of our higher rainfall totals. Right now, those higher rainfall totals and those heavy storms continuing to advance their way off towards the east. If we put this on a 1-hour loop, you can see those storms pushing their way towards the Louisiana border, moving at about 20 miles per hour. So portions of I-10 approaching Winnie, heavy downpours, blinding rain, frequent lightning strikes up through Liberty County, continuing Shepherd, Livingston. That's where we did see some of the heaviest of those storms. Now, right now, we're not dealing with anything severe, but these white boxes are going to be special weather statements, meaning it's going to be a strong thunderstorm, capable of producing winds up to 40 miles per hour. And that's what we're continuing to track as they push their way through. Those storms, once they move through, you're going to be left with some lingering light rain showers. After that, though, things will start to get a whole lot better. As for what we're tracking through the next several days, we've got multiple rounds of storms that are going to be pushing through. Zach, I've got much more on our stormy weather coming up.
Okay, looking forward to that, Caroline. Our weather, I'll tell you what, when we stepped out of the studio at 10 o'clock this morning after the 9 o'clock show, it was dark out there. It felt like 10 p.m.
It was dark. It was scary looking, ominous. I want to show you a photo that actually came out of Cinco Ranch. Take a look at this.
Oh,
look
wow.
at Seven Lakes High School.
That's what they call a shelf cloud, right?
That's the shelf cloud. Little shelfie moving in. And those shelfies are actually going to be the start of a very strong storm. Typically, when you see a shelf cloud, you can expect to see heavy downpours moving in next, frequent lightning strikes, small hail. All of that actually did come down. If you got a great photo of the shelf cloud, we'd love to see it. Click to Houston.com/pins. Okay, Storm Tracker 2 radar, we've got some good news. All of the storms we've been tracking are continuing to roll their way to the east at about 25 miles per hour. As they push out of here, things are going to get a whole lot better. But as they roll through, it's going to be feeling really intense. I'm going to take you through the strongest of these storms, starting from the north, working our way down from Down to the south, you can see up towards Corrigan. That's just to the north of Livingston. That pink color indicating the possibility of some small hail. We did see pea-sized hail out in the Spring area. Earlier this morning, heavy downpours and lightning along the East Tex Freeway. That's going to be pushing towards Chester very soon. Continuing down towards the south, Woodville dealing with these very intense storms. I would say right now, the strongest of these storms is going to be just to the north of Sour Lake and Devers. This is producing a tremendous amount of lightning. Now, it's also capable of producing 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and pea-sized hail. So Lumberton, heads up. You're quiet right now, but very soon you're going to start to feel the impacts of that thunderstorm. We're also tracking some storms approaching Winnie. That's in Chambers County. So this is the leading edge. That's the most intense storm. That's when it started to get dark like nighttime. Now, once that passes through, things get a lot better. You can still see some lingering moderate to light showers north of Houston and a few heftier downpours along 288. But that's it. We're just talking downpours and rain. This will eventually clear out. Things will get better. But still, roads are going to stay wet. So plan on extra time for your commute, heading out to lunch. Southwest Freeway, soggy road conditions. You're going to need to slow your speed down out there on the road. Temperature-wise, we've got that rain-cooled air, so things are feeling better. 74 here in Houston, 71 up in Cleveland, 82 in Livingston, where they haven't quite got the rain-cooled air. But if you haven't got it yet, you've got more chances tomorrow. We've got another flash flood risk. Let me walk you through that timeline. As early as 7 a.m. in the morning, we're expecting to see a line of strong to severe storms anywhere from Madisonville, Bryan College Station through Brenham. These storms diving from the northwest to the southeast by 10 a.m., starting to push into northwest Harris County, areas like Tomball, even the Woodlands, Columbus, Katy, dealing with those intense storms. Rolling through Houston, likely from 11 a.m. through 1 p.m. before it finally reaches the coast. Lingering showers, but by the evening commute, things a whole lot better. So the timeline for tomorrow's strong to severe storms with a flood threat really going to be the morning time through the middle of the day. Here in Houston, lunchtime looks to be the most intense. So over the next week, every single day, we are tracking the possibility of heavy downpours. This is not nonstop rainfall. It will be hit or miss. They're going to come in rounds. So if you have outdoor plans, no need to cancel. Have an indoor option. And most importantly, Zach, you need to have a way to get weather information.
Yeah.
I know everybody can't monitor the radar as intense as we do, but that's why apps are great, because
Yeah, we have one right here.
and if you have your location synced with your phone, it'll pop up and say for you, hey, heads up, a storm's moving in within the next 30 minutes. You need to head inside.
Yeah.
Our Storm Tracker 2 app, totally free. I use it as my app as well.
Does
really
it
good
for
resource.
you? Does it for you? It's very easy to use, easy to navigate. It's a wonderful tool to have.
And totally free.
Yeah, good stuff. Caroline, thank you. Okay, we've been
Expecting even more tomorrow. Meteorologist Caroline Brown has the timeline for us.
Andy, I think it's going to be really similar to what we saw today. We had those storms form out to the west through the overnight hours, and then they quickly made their way off towards the east. Now we're seeing those thunderstorms out in Louisiana. Not dealing with it really here in the Houston area. Now, we are still seeing some lingering showers, but really nothing we can't handle. You'll notice some showers up to the north. That's going to be impacting areas around Lake Livingston, Groveton on Alaska, still dealing with some light showers, sprinkles. Nothing too heavy. We're also seeing those showers continuing down towards Chambers County there, even producing just a bit of lightning. Those showers up towards Corrigan, and these are the showers we're tracking out towards Chambers County. Now, Future Track is going to show you those thunderstorms as we go through the night tonight, starting to form out to the north and west, and they'll be working their way from the northwest down towards the southeast. 4 a.m. Still going to be impacting areas around I-35, the Austin region, diving their way into the Houston metro, likely between 10 a.m. and noon tomorrow, finally reaching the coast closer towards 2. And then they move out of here. But it is going to be a messy morning commute with the heaviest of the impacts from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. Otherwise, it is warm and humid. But Andy, tomorrow morning, not the only morning we need extra time on the roads. Coming up, I'll break down that full extended forecast.
Caroline, thank you.
In fact, this afternoon, we're left with puddles. This is a live look from the Houston Zoo, specifically in the elephant exhibit. You can see one elephant hanging out back there. And I'll tell you what, it was a stormy day, but things have gotten significantly better. Now, cloud cover has remained persistent, so we haven't seen a big warm up, but all in all, things looking good. Heads up, there is a flood watch in place through Thursday evening, 7 p.m. That includes Brenham, Navasota, Bryan College Station, even Huntsville and Madisonville. Notably, this does not include Houston. Now, even though we're not in the flood watch, we still do have the risk of seeing flooding as we go through the day tomorrow. Storm Tracker 2 is going to show you we've got some light rain showers still lingering for our areas far to the east. You'll notice Chambers County, light to moderate rain showers between Anahuac and Winnie. Seeing a few lightning strikes out towards Bolivar. Otherwise, just a few lingering showers in Liberty. If we put the radar in motion, you can see those showers all drifting off to the east, which means as we head through the overnight period, most of us are going to be staying completely dry. That is until tomorrow morning. Take a look at our future track. By early morning hours, we'll start to see storms form out to the north and west. Those thunderstorms forming in the I-35 corridor and then diving to the southeast. This means as early as 6 to 7 a.m. our far northwest areas, Madisonville to Huntsville over towards Brenham, Burton, Carmine, those storms will start to move through by 8 a.m., impacting areas like Conroe down through Huntsville, continuing to the south and the east, reaching Houston likely between 10 a.m. and noon tomorrow afternoon, and then continuing to advance towards the coast. 2 o'clock reaching the coastline, and then clearing out by 5. So that morning commute is looking to be very messy. By the afternoon commute, I think it's going to be very similar to what we're dealing with this afternoon. Flash flood risk very much still in place for the day tomorrow, so extra time for driving is a must, not just tomorrow, but even as we go through the rest of this evening, we are clear. We're only going to be seeing light rain showers, but tomorrow we're going to see a similar situation to what we saw today. This shelf cloud was sent in from Seven Lakes High School by T. Pierce. You can see the dark, ominous clouds rolling in. We're expecting a similar situation tomorrow morning. We're going to see those storms rolling in, but just as fast as they roll in, they roll out. That's why this afternoon we're actually not having too rough of conditions. We've got mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures have started to increase, but all in all, I think if you've been skipping the walk because it's been too hot, tonight's the night you can kind of get out and do that walk again. Upper 70s, lower 80s, and very humid outside. Temperatures are going to be staying cooler because of the rain-cooled air. Now, we still do have a few showers out there. If you're out in Woodville or out in Corrigan, light rain showers, mist continuing down, even down towards Winnie and Chambers County. But that's it. As we go through the overnight hours, expect to be mostly quiet, but then just like what we saw today, storms are going to form to the north and west of Houston and dive their way to the south and the east. Timeline looks to be through the middle of the day tomorrow, just like what we saw today. Andy, coming up, we'll talk about your long-range forecast and, of course, the all-important Father's Day forecast.
Caroline, thank you.
That's because of our warming planet. When you have warmer poles, there's not a bigger difference between the equator and the poles. The jet stream's not as strong. That allows big Arctic plunges. So really interesting stuff there. Kind of scary stuff as well.
Certainly is.
Hey, let's talk about our weather because we've been active and we're going to continue to stay active. A live look from the Houston Zoo showing puddles. Just a reminder of the heavy thunderstorms we dealt with this morning. We're going to see a similar situation as we get into the morning tomorrow. So heads up, you're going to need extra time for that morning commute, and especially for our far north and west areas. We're talking Brenham, Navasota, Bryan College Station, Huntsville, even up towards Madisonville. We've got a flood watch in place through 7 o'clock on Thursday. Now here in the Houston area, we're not underneath the watch, but don't let your guard down. We still have the threat of seeing flash flooding. It's just going to be more isolated in nature. Storm Tracker 2 radar is going to show you some light rain showers pushing its way to the east. The rest of us just dealing with dry conditions for this evening. So future track keeping us cloudy and humid as we go through the next several hours. Through the overnight period, we're expecting more thunderstorms to form towards the north and the west. We're talking that I-35 corridor from San Antonio up towards Austin and Waco. Those storms are going to start to dive their way to the south and the east. Now, these storms, once again, are going to have the possibility of bringing damaging wind and small hail. We also cannot rule out the possibility of a quick spin-up tornado on that leading edge. So 8 a.m. starting to impact areas in our far north and west counties, approaching the Houston area closer to 10 a.m. to noon. That leading edge is going to be the most dangerous. Frequent lightning strikes, heavy downpours. I'll tell you what, you do not want to be driving in this tomorrow. So if you've got the option, pack a lunch. You don't want to be driving during the lunchtime hour. Roads are going to be atrocious with that line of storms reaching the coast likely between 2 and 4 p.m. And then just like what we're seeing today, by the time we get to that evening commute, things look much more smooth. That means you mainly need time in the morning through the middle of the day. By the evening, things are going to look a whole lot better. Flash flood risk certainly in place for everybody, not just where we have the watch. And we're going to continue to track a flash flood possibility as we go through the weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a 40 to 60% chance of storms. Keep in mind, if you don't have the storms, you're going to be dealing with warm and humid conditions. Satellite and radar, you can see a little bit of a rotation here. That's actually our low pressure system that's been bringing with it showers and storms every single day. Watch as that low pressure finally starts to move on Thursday and Friday, but we'll continue to see influence from this even as we head into the early part of the weekend. That's why we're forecasting more rain showers. In fact, from now until 1 week from today, forecast 2 to 4 inches of rain. Isolated spots could see even higher totals. That extended forecast keeping a spooky amount of rain for Friday the 13th, a 60% chance primarily in the afternoon. For Flag Day and Father's Day, we're lowering it a tad to 40%. That means temperatures should be able to climb into the mid 90s. And to early next week, you'll see rain chances start to taper down.